Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to do my best to kind of survey through the post-horn solo from Mahler's Third Symphony today. It's an extensive piece. It requires, at least for me, it required extensive practice in order to become comfortable and to be able to do the musical things that I wanted to do with this piece. So all I can do in a short period of time is just give you a few tips in terms of how to let the music help you when you're listening to performances of this and when you're working on it. So the first thing I'd like to get into is the sense of subdivision. Now, of course, this piece is in two, and it has a triple feel within two. Deem, da da, deem, da da, da. Interestingly enough, in a totally different style, Ride of the Valkyrie has the deem, da da, dee, da, but here is a lyrical, beautiful vocal kind of style, not really what you'd think of as a brass player's style. So I'm just going to play a couple of sections of this, work my way through it, show you some of the areas that might give you trouble, make a few suggestions. This really requires more time. If necessary, I might even do a second section of this video because it might be too much all at once. But bear with me. Thank you for your patience so far. I'm just going to play a little bit of the beginning of the post-horn solo. If you watch the intro, you saw that I was using a cloth, a felt bag over the end of the bell. And what this does, a lot of people do this, what this does is it changes the sound of the instrument. It's like a mute, changes the sound. So a C trumpet sounds a little bit more like a post-horn. Now there are many different things you can do. You can use a flugelhorn mouthpiece with a deep cup and a trumpet shank. So my good friend and mouthpiece maker Gary Radke designed this for me, and it comes in really handy for this. But I wanted to show you this use, which is much more common. There are many other ways to do it. When I studied this with Mr. Herseth, he said, "Oh yeah, I played this. Played it on so many different instruments. I played it on rotary B flat. I played it on flugelhorn. I played it on. Last time I played it on an old antique E flat cornet." So the attempt is always to get this sound. So sound quality is one of the main things. In an audition, that's very important because you're going to be right, the committee's right there. And they may be listening out in the hall, but it's just you, there's no orchestra, there's no support. When you play it in the orchestra, you're behind the scenes. And so the sound is conditioned by the distance to some degree. So you can play it a little bit more freely. So the way I'm going to play it today is more like the way I would do it for an audition, kind of in-person audition. So let's get started. I'm just going to play a little bit of it and then mention to me what is one of the most important essential things in order to play this musically well. Here we go. Okay, so that's the opening section. And you have this very relaxed, comfortable melody that kind of lulls you into a sense of reflection, nostalgia, peace. But it's funny, it's almost fanfare-ish at the same time. So you have two things going on. One is this sense of line, direction. And the other is, fluid, flow. And the other is this dotted rhythm. So what I want you to listen for this time when I play it, I'm going to play the next section. But that rhythm and that flowing line are recurring themes all the way through this solo. Now the flowing line is more of a long, you're looking down the road farther. And the deem, da, 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 that is more of a bouncy rhythm, but it's kind of in slow motion. And here you get this kind of rocking sensation to it. So what does the player need to do? when you listen to examples of this, see if you can feel the subdivision inside. I'm going to actually play the beginning again because I think you can get it from this, the way I'm thinking about it. Now, as you may know, if you listen to the piece, this, the sound comes out of the orchestra. A trumpet player is sustaining the same note and then goes to the offstage trumpet player. So it kind of comes out of nowhere. It's an amazing stereophonic effect. I'm going to show you how I'm thinking about the rhythm, the subdivision, the flow of the tempo. That's what I call it, flow of the tempo. So you get the idea. It's very comfortably going, gemächlich, very smooth, and it makes you want to relax. Now, whenever you play music, any kind of music, you should have in mind, what do you want people to feel? Now, if the music makes you feel something, that's a starting point. It's like, oh yeah, there's something, it evokes an emotion, an experience maybe. For Mahler, this was an experience. This is the post horn echoing in the hills, in the countryside, and in the woods from far away. And he's trying to get that same sensation in the people that are listening. So when we play, we want to have a goal of getting folks to experience that same sensation. And this takes a lot of work, but it's worthwhile, isn't it? When somebody can have that same feeling, you're passing it along to them. That's what we do as musicians. So I hope you felt a little bit of that flow. Now the section that I got into, the second section says Portamento, which basically means very smoothly connected. So the style changes from dee-do, dee-dum, and then it gets much more smooth. So you're thinking more about the longer lines, still with that, keeping that rocking sensation, like the lapping waves, something like that, physical sensation going all the way through. To me, this is the most important musical, expressive thing about this music. I'm going to go ahead a little bit further, and there are several spots throughout the solo where it says Zeit Lassen. I have the solo memorized, but I'm actually looking over here to see what the words say, because I can never remember the words. Zeit lassen, let the time expand, let go, take time, release the time a little bit. And this is very vocal kind of thing to do. Singers are way better at it than instrumentalists. Most of us grow up in band programs and it was like, so it's very, very strict discipline with the conductor. And now you are leading. You're leading the audience. You're leading the conductor. You're leading the orchestra with the decisions that you make. So you have to be very responsible in making those decisions. Think it through carefully. Now let me play some of that subdivided time so that you can see what I'm doing a little bit more. I think this will be helpful. hope that helps you. I hope that helps you to get the idea. Now, it's not necessarily easy to do that. I'm not recommending that you practice it that way, just that you feel it. Sing it that way. Conduct it as you play. If the motion of conducting helps you, use it. If walking, pacing, when you do this, this sensation is actually physical. It's movement, and it's like that heartbeat or the lapping of the waves that I talked about. So the first thing is to let that get inside you. And I think this will kind of lay the foundation. Now, there are lots of technical struggles in this piece, and I only have a few minutes to talk to you today. So as I look ahead, the next section, which I think I did in the intro, pardon me for going off camera. The next section has an interesting phenomenon in it, and it's something that feels very kind of strange because it is. You're holding this note, and then you're trilling on the note for a long, long, long time, and nothing is going on. Not in your part. There's something else going on someplace else, and that's why sometimes it's a good idea to practice this, at least to get that in your ear with the recording. Now, I don't want you to be a slave to the recording or try and make your musical ideas fit the recording, but to have the support that's there. I wish they had Music -1 for orchestra excerpts. Could probably be done now technologically, but it'd probably be a lot of work. Just a thought. Anybody out there who's got the skill, think about it. Because that's what we really need, to play with, to have at least the illusion of playing with the orchestra. So I'm going to play this spot that I played in the intro and get into the trill. And it's going to be hard for you to figure out what's going on because there's no conductor and there's no rhythm that's established in the orchestra that you can hear. It has to be in your imagination when you play this. And here's where the conducting can help a little bit. You see, that's a long time to play without breathing. And you can do it a number of different ways. Many things in the orchestra can cause this problem or present you with this challenge. So there are many, many physical things to be worked out. And what I'm planning to do, I don't know when you're going to be watching this, but for me in my future, what I'm planning to do is get into all the necessary skills and how do you develop them at the foundational level. Grassroots, ground floor, in your body, in your mind, in your unconscious reflexes, so that it's easy to play this piece. And I'll be honest with you, it took me a long time to get to the point where this was comfortable and easy for me to play. At first it was very, very difficult. So be patient with the process. Do what you can in a given day, try and improve something, and be grateful for the progress you make. It's wonderful that we have the chance, the opportunity given to us to make music, hopefully to do it for a living, but in any case, for our own enjoyment and the enjoyment of others. So have a great day, and I will see you later on down the road. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.